So on Canva.com, if you don't have an account, you're going to click on the sign up. Let me grab the right mouse here. You're going to click on sign up and create an account.
Prakash, if you're in the building, please come to the office.
You can go ahead and click on sign up with Google and just use your school account if you would like to do that. Okay. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I will give you guys a minute. Your screen should look like this or similar when you're ready to go, and I will wait till everybody is ready to go. Are you in, Tristan?
Yep.
Okay. Is anybody still getting there? Okay. All right, so if you picked up your phones for a minute while we were waiting, go ahead and put those back away. So the first thing, I'm going to kind of toggle back and forth here, guys, so I can keep track of what I'm talking about. So on a Canvas page, so when you first log in and you come here, it's going to give you some different template suggestions to the left. And then in here, you can just search for something if you know what it is you're looking for. Or you can come up to the blue button to create a new design, okay? So if you know you want to create something from scratch, you can click on that Create a Design section, okay? If you know you want to create a flyer and you don't want to do all of the heavy lifting, you can go to Templates and you can browse by category. So if you're creating a poster, if you want to create a logo for your business, sometimes my entrepreneurship class will use this to create their logos for their businesses, okay? And so then it'll give you different templates that you can look through to create different things. I knew that the 8th graders were coming for an elective fair last week, and I found out with not very much time to spare. And so I created a flyer, but I used a template. I like the colors, I like the blocking of it, and I just changed the words. So the template I use, so all your designs, those are things that you created, okay? So I selected a template that looks like this, and then I just changed all the wording and I added images to have something to pass out to the 8th graders, okay? So that's an example. If you find something, and you can see what the original looks like up here, right? So I just changed all of the wording and the images to suit my needs, okay? I'm going to go back to home. Oh, no, I'll stay here. So on the left side, they call this a hamburger, okay? And a hamburger is where you have a lot of different tools layered on top of each other, okay? So you have templates, your photos, different elements, text boxes, videos, backgrounds, okay? So this is all of your different tools you can use to create something. If you want to use a photo, you can upload it. So you can use recently used ones or trending, or you can search for photos, but you can also go to uploads down here and say you want to upload something. So you click on upload and you can select something from your computer or from your drive to upload into Canva and then use it, okay? So we're going to do a project with Oreos here in a little bit when we come back from spring break. And so I already uploaded the Oreo image, so it would be there for you guys when you're ready for that, okay? So I've talked about the hamburger. Let me just come back to my notes for a minute. Okay, so when you put a whole bunch of text boxes or images together and you know you want to move them all at the same time, you can group. And I'm going to click on this arrow right here to close my hamburger display, okay? And then I want to make this bigger. Okay, so if you click that, you can look at it and make it bigger. And now I'm going to exit full screen. And where is how do I zoom it? Oh, there we go. So if I want to make it bigger like that. Okay, so what I'm wanting to show you is grouping. So if I know that I want to move a whole bunch of boxes all at the same time, and I want them to stay equidistant from each other, right? I can click on one and hit shift, so I'm holding down shift while I'm clicking on boxes. And I click on another, and it kind of senses that I'm trying to group things together, and I click on another, okay? And if you right click, it should come up, but it's not because, okay. Now, right click and click on group, and so I've grouped all of those together. So now if I want to move them around, see how it's moving them together, even though they weren't originally joined together. And I need the most important button you can find, the undo. So if you do something and you didn't mean to, just click on undo and it'll reset back to where you had it, okay? Let's see, what else do I want to show you? So also, if you're moving around, you can grab with the mouse to move, but if you're needing to move in minuscule spacing, right? So you just want to move it a little bit. It's called a nudge, guys. And nudge is when you use the arrows on your keyboard to just barely move. See how it's just barely incrementally moving? And so sometimes you might use your arrows instead of your mouse to have a smaller movement instead of a larger one. Any questions about that? Okay, so then there's a link, and I will put this up in Google Classroom for you to use later if you need it, but I wanted to show you 2 tips from people that are smarter than me, okay? So tips from the experts, 25 graphic design tips for non-designers. And I don't consider myself a designer at all, by no means. There are some people that create a lot more beautiful things than I can on the computer, but I like these tips and tricks because it helps me fake people out and they think I know more than I do. So limit your typefaces. We talked about that a little bit. And don't be scared of scale. So see how much white space, even though it's a picture of a mountain, see how much white space is behind there and it really draws your eye to the words, okay? So don't be scared of a really big word in tiny print and then a bunch of white space. Respect the space. So see how all those words are right on, or those letters are right next to each other? Okay? Make sure that the spacing of your letters, and probably the way they did that is they put each letter in its own text box and then squished them together so that they would be closer together in the image. Okay? Choose your colors carefully. We already talked about that. Now, I feel like this white is hard to read on top of the blue. Do you guys? Okay. But do you see how, like, the color kind of matches the emotion of the message? That light blue, kind of an ocean feel, clean, crisp, clear. Okay? You want to make sure that the emotion of what you're conveying in your message matches your font and your colors and your images. Don't have a conflicting message. That slide cracks me up. Fonts have feelings too. Figure out the mood of your content, okay? So alignment. Sometimes when you type something, you want the justification of the beginning and the end of your words to align. And journalism yearbook people, how much time do you spend working on alignment on a newspaper page before it goes to print? A lot. Like, would you say, what percentage of the job is that? After you decide what your page is going to be and your images and your text, how much time do you mess around with spacing and alignment?
Like, I don't even know, a lot.
Would you say it's the biggest part of the job?
Probably in like the production side of it.
On the production side,
Yeah.
not for the writer. They're probably like, no, writing the article is the biggest part of the job.
Yeah.
What do you think, Riley?
Yeah, it's probably
A big part?
yeah.
And it can really make a difference, guys, when you're building, even in a presentation slide, if you have your alignment all over the place, it can make it really difficult to read and process, okay? Let me go through, I want to see if there's any others. I think that this is a cool look where you have the different font colors, but you change the background so that it really pops. That's a cool effect. This one, okay, so keeping it in the family, the background is purple. Can you see that? Let me turn the light off. The background is purple and the text is like monochromatic. That means it's like gradually increasing in color, but it's all in the same family of color, right? That's a lot easier on the eyes sometimes than a stark white or an aqua blue on purple, okay? White space, we talked about that. Before you dive in, research. That's part of what I said about know where you're going, know what you're planning for your presentation, okay? Okay. I think that's all I want to show you on that one. This last one, this is a brief tool for you to use if you like to use keyboard shortcuts instead of the mouse. So this reference will be in Google Classroom for you when you're creating. Okay, so these are keyboard shortcuts. How many of you guys like keyboard shortcuts instead of, okay, I do too. I like to do like the Control-C to copy instead of right-click copy with my mouse. So there's a whole bunch of them. You can duplicate an item, and I like these. You can make it uppercase or lowercase, okay? Delete an item, add a border to your text. That's a quick fix right there rather than searching around how to add a border to your text. Increase border size. So it just tells you what to do. And depending on what you're designing, you'll either use these or you won't, but that tool will be in Google Classroom for you, okay? So back to our instructions. So what I want you to do is real quick, since you're in Canva, I want you to create a flyer or a poster. You can use a template or not. And all you're going to do, I want you to think of one word that represents you. Okay? I started playing violin at the age of 3, and I taught violin for over 20 years. So I probably, if I was to choose one word, it would either be violin or music. Okay? Make sure it's school appropriate. Experience requires me to say that. So choose one word. I want you to have a background. Make sure you follow the rules. So you should have complementary contrasting colors. Okay? You can choose whatever font you think is appropriate for your design. It can be a quote or a phrase if you would prefer that rather than one word, but don't make it too long. I'm going to give you, let's see how productive you can be in 10 minutes. Okay? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to work on this, and then we'll move on to something else. I just want you to practice using it for a few minutes before you go on spring break. Okay? Any questions?
I got kind of behind and I'm still trying to figure out how it did.
Canva, you got it. Okay, so when you're in Canva, you can go to, look up on the screen, you can either go to create a design, okay, and you can create a custom one, or you can use a template, okay. So I said do a flyer or a poster, okay, so if I say flyer, it's going to bring up a blank one, okay. But if you want to use a template, you can go to templates, and then here's some templates for poster, okay, or templates for flyer.
So, I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Is that your phrase?
Oh no. Me and Noah are doing combined.
Yeah, because I.
Oh, your internet's not working?
No, not
Okay.
Okay, this works.
So your first design. So do you want to
Right
do
there,
poster or
look.
flyer?
Yeah. Wait, I thought that was a video.
And then
Oh,
there's some templates that pop up. You can create your own, or you can use yours. Okay. The nice thing about Canva, if you're logged in, it will save your work for you. Okay? So you can save it, and when we come back from spring break, we'll print these out on the color printer. And I wanted to do it today and have them up, but the color printer is not working at the moment.
Can we put our names on it?
No, what I will have you do is when you print it out, I'll have you put your name on the back of the page. Okay? Okay.